Hi everybody, my name is Elika Liftee. I am the reigning and two-time US Brewers Cup champion, as well as the Director of Education for the award-winning small batch roastery out of Northwest Arkansas, Onyx Coffee Lab. This is our exciting collaboration with Fable. We are launching a brand new coffee in conjunction with their cafe collection, and I am excited to introduce their Fable dripper. The coffee we will be sharing with you is called Eternal Sunday, and as part of the Fable mindset and cafe collection, you will clearly see like-mindedness in terms of excellence and design. And what hides behind all these beautiful features is our like-mindedness in terms of sustainability. As you will see in all of the packaging for your Fable products, in addition to your recyclable as well as home compostable box of Eternal Sunday coffee. The Fable dripper is something that is very neat to me as somebody who enjoys a variety of different brewing methods. We have a simple wedge-shaped brewer with impeccable build. This is a hefty dripper and one single drain hole here at the bottom. As it is meant to pair with your collection, we've got several different colors, and I've built a recipe for you at home that I hope is both simple enough to replicate with minimal equipment, as well as excellent enough to brew you a wonderful cup of coffee each and every time. So let's talk through a little bit about this recipe, and then as this is brewing, we'll talk a little bit more about this Eternal Sunday coffee. So your Fable brewer should be paired with these number 2 filters. Fable recommends these handcrafted ones in Japan, and we have a perforation here. And so we are going to fold along this bottom line and then fold along this side. Now, every filter with perforations is meant to be folded like this so that it will set flat inside of your dripper. Now, once we do that, I'm going to run some water over this paper. I also recommend doing this in any of your coffee pots, so that we wet this paper filter, which means it's going to not only filter better, but it's going to get rid of this residual paper flavor. So let this water run through, dump it out. Now, the recipe I'm sharing today is very similar to what we brew in each of our cafes in Onyx Coffee Lab. We're going to use 25 grams of coffee and 400 mils or grams of hot water. Now, if we are not using a scale or a specialty kettle, then this is going to be 5 tablespoons of either whole bean or ground coffee. And this will be just under 14 ounces of our hot water. Now, I'm going to boil my water, and I'm gonna take this kettle off and let it set for up to 30 seconds so that water temperature drops, and it's gonna be perfect for brewing. I've got my 25 grams or 5 tablespoons of coffee, and this is ground to a medium consistency. You want these grounds to look and feel somewhat like a coarse table salt. Now, once I add my grounds into my dripper, give it a little shake so that the top of it is flat. And this recipe will fit in this large coffee mug, or if you're brewing into a separate decanter, it will fit into 2 cappuccino mugs. For this recipe, I also recommend having a spoon or a chopstick or some sort of small stir stick. This is going to help us break apart any clumps of dry coffee grounds throughout the brewing process so that we are able to pull out all of the delicious flavor that we want from our coffee. Now, I am going to brew this recipe in 3 separate pours. My first one, if you want to get your phone out for a timer or a separate kitchen timer, I just want to wet all of my coffee. I'm using a tea kettle. If you're using a specialty kettle, all the better. But this will be around 60 grams of water, just enough to cover all the grounds. And then I'm going to take this stir stick and break apart any dry clumps that are in here. This is what we call the bloom phase. This is letting your coffee absorb water so that we don't get a watery cup in the finish. And we let this go for 30 to 45 seconds. And now I'm gonna pour my water and I'm gonna fill this brewer up until I have just less than 1/4 inch from the top. So you don't want to reach the top of your dripper. We're going to be just underneath it, and that is going to be around 300 grams of water total. So I fill this up once, and then here at 1 minute and 30 seconds, I will fill back up to the top, and that'll be our total amount of water. So you can do this either by measuring that 14 ounces in here and splitting into 3 separate pours, or simply by eyeballing your level of water in your dripper itself. Now, because we have only one single drain hole, we have a slower drawdown than some of the other brewers that circulate out there, which means we have a lot more room, and we should just put all this water in here and let it steep. So here at 130, I'm gonna try to touch all this coffee here on the side of the filter. There we go. Back up to the top. And this is all we do. Now we let it drain through. And so let's break down our Eternal Sunday here for a little bit. Fable selected this wonderful coffee blend specifically for their dripper because they loved it. It was really, really good coffee. We source and publish transparent pricing for all of our coffee offerings. We'll find a list of flavor notes. These are not additives to your coffee. Instead, being the harvested seed of a fruit, your coffee has inherent flavor characteristics when it is sourced at a high quality and roasted with intention. And so what this coffee tells us with its notes of black plum, brown sugar, orange zest, and milk chocolate is that we have a medium acidity. You're gonna get this nice citrus acidity, more like orange zest than it is like actually biting into an orange or a tangerine. We'll have these nice, gentle stone fruit notes with this black plum and a nice developed sweetness from the roasting process, this brown sugar notes. What this tells us is that we have a coffee that is going to be very good by itself, in addition to being very nice if you are going to add some cream or some sugar. So this recipe, I consider like a default setting. We have a medium grind size. We brewed out here in about 3.5 minutes, and I have my nice 12-ounce cup of coffee. If you like a stronger cup of coffee, here's what I recommend. Grind your coffee more finely or steep that coffee in that first pour for up to a minute in length. This is what a lot of specialty drip coffee makers will do to increase their extraction or the amount of flavor that you're actually pulling into your cup. And so, if you want a stronger cup of coffee that's gonna cut through that cream and sugar, then steep it for a little bit longer. And if you like it a little bit more delicate so that it's not as strong, then steep it a little bit less. All right, I've got a nice cup of coffee. We have a wonderful little cream carafe. So, thank you and enjoy.